At the time I went to Winthrop, I had no idea of the impact that it would have on me personally and the impact that it would have for other African Americans. I grew up in a very unique family, I think. I knew my great-grandmother, who was an ex-slave. I knew my grandparents, all four of them, and though they were just a few years out of slavery when they were born, they knew the value of an education. It was not just about books, it was about how to live as a productive citizen in your community. As a young black woman, I was angry about a lot of the inequalities. And being 24 years old, you think you're invincible. I did not realize how much danger I had placed my family in until I watched the eyes on the prize and looked back at all of the violence that was going on. I had a little 13-inch black and white TV set on a little table. And when I would see the bulldogs being set on people, the water hoses, the houses being bombed, the threats, I thought, am I living in America? Is this my country? Because I had no idea that Winthrop was going to desegregate. I was going to get some extra hours to get certified in library science, and I believed that it was predestined that I would go. And so one of my coworkers said, "We're applying to Winthrop. Why don't you apply?" And I did. And so it was just the luck of the draw that my application was accepted. And I think one of the obstacles we have to overcome is tokenism. When you have one black student among thousands, that's intimidation. I don't think they expected me to stay. I don't think they expected me to be able to juggle my schedule and my family and my work and graduate. I think there was that low expectation. The college was looking for the ideal candidate, and on paper, I was it. I would not be on campus. That was one security issue. They wouldn't have, the fact that I was married, they weren't going to have the issue of young black males coming on campus. The fact that I was working and commuting to work, it meant that I was not going to spend a lot of time on campus because I was a wife, a mother, and employed. So on paper, I'd already had 2 degrees. I had the graduate record exam. I would have caused less problems. I think there was the perception from some professors that students of color could not perform, that they went in with the assumption that we were not prepared because we were coming from historically black institutions. They just did not have that. They had low expectations of our performances. I was invisible. If you think about the isolation of having one student, nobody invited to lunch, nobody asked to be in a study group, nobody said hello to, the isolation, that's a problem. Winthrop desegregated. Okay, there's a difference between integration and desegregation. Winthrop tolerated me, the students. I was just one in the grad school. I was a student at Winthrop, but I was not a part of the student body. I recently met Winthrop's sister when she introduced herself to me, and she is a white lady, and she went on to talk, and she went on to tell me that she hadn't been back to Winthrop either. So maybe it was, I know that mine was a big thing, being the only black student there, but there were also some white students who were there who felt isolation too. I would say to them that that was the era of that time, and we have an opportunity now to rectify that, because by her coming up and approaching me and introducing herself, that showed a totally different 360-degree reaction as to what would have happened day one when I went to Winthrop. The integration of Winthrop was really just a process. It was not my first action at desegregating. So I don't think my life would have been different. If I had not gone to Winthrop, I would have gone someplace else. I have a right to be in this place. I'm a much better diplomat now that I'm older and have some life experiences. You can get the same thing done if you use a different tone of voice, if you use a different set of words, if you don't go in with your hair standing up on your head, you know. So to my younger self, I would say, do what you got to do. Do it with confidence and not arrogance. At the time I went to Winthrop, I had no idea of the impact that it would have on me personally and the impact that it would have for other African Americans. Because at the same time that I went, they also hired their first staff members, they had their first teachers, and this past year they have their first African American president of the Alumni Association. So I am humbled, but this honor is not for me. It's for the village that raised me. I came from a community where every child was somebody's child. We had a self-contained community. We had a community that was proud. It had almost everything that you needed in it. And it was a place of love and encouragement. It's not there now, but the memories are there. And the legacy goes on, not just in me, but in other people who come out of that community.